Technologies oil catch can on my 2017 Dodge Charger Daytona 392. So here is the kit. Here's what you get. Catch can itself, I went with black. Z bracket also, and also color matched fittings. Here's your two hose adapters that you're going to use. Bolt and spacer to mount everything up. I also opted for the satin finished hose ends to dress things up a little bit. Also for the braided line, you can see the printing there, so we're obviously going to make sure to flip that down so we hide it and don't see that. Tools wise, got a little 1/4 inch ratchet with deep 13mm socket on it. Don't think I needed the deep socket, just to give me a little bit of extra room away from the engine block. I don't have proper hose cutters, so we're going to hope some garden shears do the job. Screwdriver and pliers to adjust the PCV hose elbow here, and that should be the parts we need for it, and a little bit of WD-40. So let's jump into it. So for this install, what we're going to be doing is removing this PCV hose here, and the reason we want to do that is to prevent oil blow-by from being recirculated from the engine block, from the crankcase back into the intake to be reburned. Obviously recirculating oil into the engine is not ideal, and over time can lead to gunk buildup and contribute to engines running poorly. So we want to prevent that, and oil catch cans do that. So we'll take this off, take this hose off, and then we're going to come down here, and you might be able to see that little pin right there in the center of the screen. We're going to pull that out. That's a threaded hole that ultimately is what the catch can Z bracket will bolt into. This elbow right here, we're going to have to angle that, reposition it from over here, pointing over here more, to be more in line with the catch can. Pretty simple overall, so let's get going. Alright, first thing is to remove this PCV hose here, and we'll see if we can just pull that out. Doesn't seem like it wants to come, so we'll use the screwdriver gently to help pry that off. There we go. And we'll do the same. Actually, we can just twist that out here. Alright, so there's the PCV hose, and if you look closely, there's already oil buildup on that. Make sure you can see that. That's ultimately what we're trying to prevent here, so I think this oil catch can is going to do some good for us. Alright, now what we're going to do, slide the hose adapter in here all the way. That's bottomed out in there. We're going to do the same right here. Nice and easy. Next, we're going to come down to this pin I showed earlier, and we're going to pry that out. So we'll grab the flathead screwdriver again, and it's pretty simple just to get the screwdriver in there, wiggle back and forth, and pry that out. Well, maybe it's not that easy. So this proved to need a little bit more than just a flathead screwdriver, so what I'm going to use is a interior panel removal tool or clip removal tool, and that is perfect because it fits right in there, and we can pry it out without having to reef on anything. There we go. That was easy once you have the right tool. So with that, we'll go ahead and grab our catch can and bracket. This spacer is going to go between the bracket and the engine block. So we'll line everything up through the catch can, through the spacer, and we'll screw that in. And obviously, do this with a cool engine, because this is only running for a minute and the water pump housing here is still kind of warm. Alright, we got that started. A little bit of a tight squeeze. I'll use the socket, get it finger tight. Alright. So that's loose for now, which is fine. Now we'll grab our hose. We got two different lengths of hose. Shorter hose, which obviously we'll use here. And you can see how we'll need to re-angle this elbow. And this longer section, which really doesn't need to have a whole heck of a lot trimmed off of it. So what we'll do is we'll throw our hose end on one end. Slide that on. Really, if I didn't want to, I don't need to, but we'll cut off maybe about an inch or so. So let's see. We don't have hose cutters. Let's see how garden shears work. DIY in the garage. So about an inch off. And actually that was good. Since this isn't high pressure line or anything like that, there's not a lot to cut through. So, and actually, so we want to cut some more off, because you might be able to see up here we're kind of putting this rubber elbow at an angle, and we don't want that. We want that to come straight on. So take a little bit more off. And I didn't think it was super important to have this tight, but it kind of appears that it is. So that way this isn't moving around on you as you're trying to position that. So actually we need to take a fair amount off. So we'll take about right there. Still a little bit of a kink up here, so we'll take a little bit more off. And that nice and straight. So we'll take that off, put this hose end on, slide that on. That looks good. A little bit of an angle, but I can live with that. Right. So can we twist this? Actually, yes. Alright, so just grab it, firm grip, twist it. Got it roughly pointing in the right direction, so again we'll go ahead and fit one side, and we'll go ahead and cut right about there. Might need one more little cut, but I'd rather have a little bit too much than too little. So slide that end on, and yeah, we'll take just a little bit more off. Literally like a half an inch. And maybe like another half inch, because I want it to sit just a little bit nicer than that. It's putting a little bit of pressure on that elbow. There we go. I like that. And that's all there is to it. Billet Technologies oil catch can installed. Just make one last pass through, make sure the Z bracket down here is good and snug. You are going into aluminum, so don't over tighten it. And we'll come back, we'll check out how much oil this catches in a while. But I hope watching me fumble through this was helpful for you. You know, pull off the PCV hose up here. Might need to use a little screwdriver like you saw me do to just, you know, pry that apart because it was sealed up pretty good. Down here at this elbow, I was just able to twist it out, cut these up to the length that fits, you know, your engine the best. You know, you don't want any pressure on these rubber connectors. This elbow up here, nice smooth transition. You know, kind of keeps it from going out over the engine too much, and you know, nice smooth path for the oil and air to flow through. But other than that, I think it looks great, simple, clean, and I think it's going to do my engine some good in the long haul. So thanks for watching.